Hi everyone, my name is Tia. You know what is coming? The mid-year freakout tag. I did this last year and it is always such a fun time answering these questions. Grab a cup of coffee. I have mine. I put a post-it note on the cup because of my, one of my family members' companies is on this cup. I got it for free, but I also spilled coffee on it. So cheers, good morning. It is not even 8 in the morning right now. And so we're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants. I have got a lineup of books I'm super stoked to talk to you about. If you have been thinking of making a YouTube channel, this is your sign. I am tagging you. This will be your first video. Just start. Just start. The first question is, what is the best book of the year so far? And I have two because I couldn't decide. Now, I was late to the game. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, I think was in so many people's 2023 favorites. So I think everyone and their mom has already read this before, but I would highly recommend it. I was so pleasantly surprised by how much I adored this magical realism romance. I have so many, no context, just I have so many beautiful quotes highlighted, so many just very fond memories of me reading this. I loved the two main characters, both separately and apart. There's so much more than the romance, which I think really gets me going in contemporary romances these days. A romance, just the two characters, is just no longer enough. I need more. I need like the familial aspect. I need self-growth. I need like all these different things to keep me engaged. And this one really just checked all my boxes. I will say it does deal with familial grief after a suicide. So I would keep that in mind going into it. All the sentiments of grief really stuck to my throat. Like it just was done so well with so much care, and it is so giggly. I had such a good time reading this. And then on the same vein, but what's it called? Separate face of the same coin, I loved How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwan. Now hear me out. Surprisingly to me, it's getting a lot of gripe on Goodreads, which I will not take any How to End a Love Story slander in this house. I think this speaks for itself in that I had an absolute blast reading this. First of all, I have this copy. Okay, it's signed by the author, and it also has her mom's soy sauce salmon recipe in the back, which I thought was really cute. And then my beautiful friend went to like this book event in LA and she snagged me a different copy. And I was like, oh, thanks, that's so sweet. And she goes, open it. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I love you, I adore you, and we adore Yulin together. I feel like I bonded so much with Elizabeth over how much we connected with Helen, connected with Grant. We really fell knee deep, hands on the ground type of feeling towards this story. I think these two main characters are very inherently flawed. They are dealing with so much trauma, so much turmoil from their past, and seeing each other and having to be close to one another kind of makes them relive it, but also helps them heal. So many of these pages just punched me in the gut. So for example, I just opened a random page. He thinks this might be a character flaw of his, this ability to fall into friendships and relationships so easily when they never seem to last once the initial trappings of what makes him temporarily relevant in people's lives passes. He isn't sure how to fix them. Ow. I also think this gives such an honest, like ugly, but it's honest perspective on the dynamic between Asian parents and their Asian American children sometimes. What Helen and her family are going through and how they're moving forward really spoke to me on a deeper level that I wasn't expecting any kind of book anytime soon to hit home for me like that. I think anyone with immigrant parents or family that had immigrated to America and you maybe grew up in America and have very different perspectives on life, I think you will see a little bit of yourself in this book. I absolutely adore this book, which is evident between the fact that I now have two. But the good news is I get to display it on my shelf like this so you could see my annotations, which I love. Holy smokes, that was only the first question. The second question is the best sequel that I have read this year, and today's June 22nd. I've read 45 books this year. I have only read 3 series out of the 45. Just for the Summer, which is Part of Your World number 3. I believe it's Yours Truly, Part of Your World, and then Just for the Summer. I actually DNF'd Part of Your World because I could not stand the female main character. She didn't know what a broom was, and she was in her like late 30s. Like, how dare you not know what a broom is? You're not relatable after that. Into the Dark is number 5. type of the Magnolia Parks universe. I read this one most recently, and then This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan is number 2 of her Skyland series. Out of these 3, this by far is my winner. This Could Be Us is just a masterclass of what I want in a steamy contemporary romance with maybe deeper context and deeper connection. I will say, if you go into this thinking it's just a romance, you will probably be like, I need more romance, because there's so much going on in this book. It's almost 0 to 100 type of pace, and then by the time you finish, you're like, oh, that was so satisfying, because you really saw all of it play out. But it's not just about Soledad and Judah. A lot of the time, romance main characters can come off as one-dimensional or naive, and I feel like because these characters are parents and they're a little bit older than the typical contemporary romance, this is the opposite of that. I feel like there was so much life experience, so much wisdom within the characters, and you could tell that they are both very secure in themselves before they step into a relationship, which is an aspect that I really appreciated. There's also autism representation in this book, and just so much to say about trust and respect in a relationship that I feel like a lot of people in general should really read about. I could not rave more about this book. I actually did rave about this book in another book video of mine. Our third question is a new release that I haven't gotten to yet, but I want to. And excitingly, literally yesterday, I just found out that So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole is not only a diverse, it's Jamaican inspired, it's like this fantasy, there are dragons involved. I learned yesterday that there is a sapphic side plot of romance. I need it in my hands right now. I'm probably gonna borrow it from Libby sometime soon. I also excitedly found out that it is part of a duology, and I believe the second one is coming out later this year, which I'm so excited for the author for. That's amazing. So Let Them Burn coming out in January. The cover is absolutely breathtaking, and I've been hearing very positive reviews about it, so I'm very excited to get to that one. I made a 50 2024 anticipated releases video in December, and that took a lot of research and whatnot, so I'm set on trying to at least finish reading all of those books that I said I would. I don't know if I'm on track at all. I feel like if anything, I'm a little bit behind on that list, but at the end of the day, we're never really behind on reading. There's no end goal to, oh, I didn't read this much in this month, or I'm behind this month. There's no such thing. Whatever you read this year is great. If you read a book, if you didn't, that's totally okay. This is just a gentle reminder that on YouTube, things are very different. We make bookish content. Yes, I read 45 books this year, but I also had far too much time on my hands. As do a lot of other creators, in that like sometimes this is their full-time job, so don't compare yourself to anyone online. This is solely for fun, and I hope you've had a wonderful reading year no matter how many books you've read. Our fourth question is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Now, like I mentioned, I made that video in December and I haven't looked at it since, to be honest. It's almost too much because of how many I've been so kindly. I could not have, if you told me this a year ago, I wouldn't have believed you. I've received so many books from publishers for free, and I have acquired so many books that looking at new releases sometimes stresses me out, because I'm surrounded by a bajillion beautiful books that I haven't gone to yet. So I think right now I'm more looking at my physical TBR for book recommendations or books that I gravitate towards, rather than looking online or at other people's anticipated releases videos for any kind of inspiration. I don't need any more inspiration. This is all I've really valued my time with physical books. They take me much longer than audiobooks or ebooks, but there's just something about seeing your old annotations and remembering how you felt while reading those books. It's something very special. That's not something I appreciated last year, so I'm definitely taking the efforts to be conscious about doing that this year. Oh my god, my foot is starting to get numb. Ouch, 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 ouch. Our fifth question is the biggest surprise of this year. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of my surprises have been negative, in that a lot of my anticipated releases I felt underwhelmed by or disappointed by, and I think again that is completely on me. I put too much pressure, too much hype on anticipated releases. I'm gonna stop. I'm going into books with low expectations moving forward. I'm trying to, and I think it's working so far. Let me just find some examples. Oh, The Guncle Abroad, which is the Guncle #2. That is a sequel, I guess, that I read that I didn't include in the sequel question, but that one I gave it 3 stars and I was pretty disappointed about it. I don't think it really needed to be made. The Paradise Problem, I gave it 3 stars by Christina Lauren. The Reappearance of Rachel Price also got 3 stars by Holly Black, which is devastating to me. I was so excited about that one. Memory Piece, I gave it 4 stars. Funny Story, ooh, that one was a 3 star. That one was tough. And you're like, oh my god, Tia, can you please read books that you like? I promise I'm trying. I'm DNFing books. I just feel like there have been a lot of 3-star reads this year. But anyway, biggest surprise. No one is surprised by my choice. A Curious Beginning by Deanna Raybourn. I absolutely tore through this gem of a book. I think this is probably the one that I annotated the most. Right next to How to End a Love Story, there's so many more tabs. Historical mystery with a slow burn side romance between the 2 main characters. Oh, I couldn't ask for more. The little moments of tension are so delicious in this book because it is historical, so there's like lots of tension built up. General historical fiction from like the 20th century is probably my favorite. Anything from 1900 onward, I'm like, yes, this is easily digestible. I really enjoy the stories. But once it gets pre-1900, I'm like, ooh, this language is like quite difficult for me. So this is set in 1887 in London, but I was so surprised by how fun this book was. Even though the language is a little bit flowery, she did historical mysteries so well. I was so pleasantly surprised. The romance is fun, the dialogue is fun. Our female main character is so smart and so witty and so sarcastic, and we love her. And so I was just really surprised about this book. Favorite new author this year, not debut, but new to me, Miss Kennedy Ryan. I will absolutely be going through her entire backlog, as we all should be doing. The quality of her writing is very good, and the depth of her characters is something that really stands out to me. Okay, newest fictional crush. I think I had a hard time with this last year as well. Maybe it's because it is just the last book I finished, but Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Eli could get it. I have my gripes with that book, but I'll say it. She wrote that man so down bad. That he sounds so cute. So that's what I'll say. I'm right now in the middle of filming a video of reading all of Ali Hazelwood's books. I've never read one of hers before, so keep an eye out for that reading vlog. I'm super stoked about it. A book that made me cry. The first book that came to mind was Frederick Bachman's And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer, but if I thought about it, that book is so beautiful. It's a novella, but it made me like tear up, but I don't recall it like making me shed a tear. And you know what's so surprising to me? The only book that's made me do that, and it was like, I'd say 6 tears max, but it was Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. And I think for different reasons than you might expect if you've read it already. I gave this a 4. I will be talking more about it in my June reading wrap up, but the parts that made me cry were about BJ discussing his feelings of grief, which really honestly surprised me because BJ is my least favorite character. I'll say it with my whole chest. He has never been my favorite character. If you don't know already, Magnolia Parks, the storyline between Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne has cheating in their past. I can't go into it or else this will be a million minutes long, as these books are. They're so long. This was like 700 pages. But I really do feel like this book humanized him for me, and I think it was the perfect way to go out. Into the Dark is going to be the last Magnolia focused book. Now we're moving on to the next Daisy Hates, and so this wrapped up their story. For me to be able to feel like that towards him, I was like, you know what? This was an enjoyable book. Our 9th question is a book that made you happy. And it's so funny because the title has happy in it, but Happy Medium by Sarah Adler. Her style of like quirky writing just really grabbed at my heartstrings. She's an auto-buy author for me. I did end up giving Happy Medium a 3 stars just because other elements of the book. However, I will say the way that the book boyfriend showed our main character love and how he kind of showed up for her, showed up, really reminded me so much of my girlfriend and how my girlfriend likes to show me love. That just made me really happy. It made me feel so seen and made my relationship feel so seen. So it was really sweet. I just feel like Adler hit the nail on the head with that type of love. To love is to be seen is really what she was harping on, and I completely related to that from my personal life. So I just thought that was really sweet. I'm cheesing thinking about it. So it definitely made me very happy. Our 10th question is most beautiful book I've bought so far this year or received. I've done like a concerning amount of book hauls this year. It's fine because I'm donating a lot of those books. I mean, still, I've acquired lots of books. You'll see when I do my reading journal recap. The first book that I want to talk about, because I'm so jazzed to have it in my hands, It's here. I have acquired one. It is the UK cover of Happy Place by Emily Henry. One of my all-time favorite, lifetime favorite. I think about these characters quite a lot. I reread it earlier this year because I was just itching for a 5-star and I knew this would scratch that itch. Second time around, also more than 5 stars for me. I love these characters. I love seeing myself in both of them. I love seeing my flaws and seeing them get loved anyway. I am so happy to have the UK cover. My friend came back from London and she so sweetly picked me up one of these copies, I think from Waterstone somewhere. It makes me so happy. So I actually display it like that usually. Something I actually just got in the mail yesterday that I really wanted to talk about. 14 Sisters of Emilio Montez O'Brien. I think this cover, stunning. Freaking stunning. Whoever designed this, who designed this? Cover design by Albert Tang. Cover illustration by Rodrigo Corral Studio. Oh, the flowers courtesy of New York Public Library. That's very sweet. Everything about this book cover I think checks a lot of boxes for me. The stunning, vibrant colors, the font. It's eclectic, it's kind of quirky, but it also has like some muted undertones. I don't know what I'm saying, but I just know that I absolutely love this. And it sounds really interesting. Reckoning with cultural assimilation and complex family dynamics, the novel elicits tears and laughter while tenderly revealing the boundless heart of a warm, passionate family. Sorry if you hear the birds. I just feel like this is going to be a very heartwarming story with a beautiful cover. You could not ask for more. So thank you Grand Central Publishing for sending me this. And the last book I want to talk about is Night Crawling. This shade of orange, this particular shade of orange, I think I'll talk a little bit more about this in the San Francisco vlog I have coming soon, which I'm also really excited for. I just need to edit it. I painted my bedroom a certain shade of orange. It was called Dragon's Breath. And it was truly, I wish it was an exaggeration, this shade of orange. My entire my childhood bedroom was this color. You come in and you're like blinded. I can't believe my parents let me do that. That's so sweet of them. I ended up painting it like a lavender afterwards. It was this color for a couple years. This color is just, it just speaks to me at like a soul level. It elicits some kind of visceral response from my heart. So I just have to give this a shout out as well. I think this is so stunning, so eye-catching. And number 11 is what books you need to read by the end of the year. In substitution of this question, I'm hoping to do just like a really quick reading journal update for you. I posted a reading journal video a few months ago. I'll put it here. And I have had so much fun keeping that mother trucker updated. I did not expect it to be so much fun. So you and I are gonna quickly walk through my iPad digital reading journal together right now. So this is my tracker. My goal started off at 52. Last year I read 157. Right now I'm at 45 on June 22nd. This is my key. We talked about this in my first reading journal video that I knew it would look way cuter once it was filled, and doesn't it? Oh my gosh. So I think I've updated it in that I added buddy reads and rereads. You can really tell that I'm an audiobook and Kindle person. I'd say that pink and blue are pretty equal, and the purple, which are my physical copies, are pretty scattered throughout, but I'm definitely learning to read a little bit more purples, as you can see. My oranges are my advanced reader copies, and then reds are buddy reads. So I've done a lot of buddy reads, which has been really, really fun. And then if you are curious, I literally just looked on Pinterest, like bookshelf tracker reading journal, and I drew over the template that I found on Pinterest. My reading oriented goals. Okay, this is where things really changed because I had to expand the first one. I had to finish at least 12 books off my physical TBR, and I literally did that in April. Yeah. Cheers, cheers, go me. I've read 17. Definitely an accomplishment for me, and it has been motivating to see me add more books to this list, which I guess makes me want to read more physical books. Complete 3 buddy reads. I hit that out of the park. I've read 7 so far this year, and it's only June. And read at least 5 nonfiction books. I've only read 3, but I still got some time. And then my goal was to get to 80% on NetGalley. I guess I haven't updated it since April, but I'm close. I'm at 77, barring that I don't ask for more and then I get approved for more and then the percentage lowers, so that's a whole thing. Ugh. And in terms of priority TBR, which I think is the question, I've only read 3 out of the 10 that I put on this list. So that's not a great track record. I highly do not think I will be getting to all of these this year, unfortunately. Last Night of the Telegraph Club, I'm reading, really enjoying so far. I do want to get into this probably in the fall, and then probably this one is one I'll get to this year, but besides that, I don't think I will be getting to the other ones, which I'm okay with. Again, I'm not trying to put pressure on myself. This is supposed to be fun. Like, this is just more of a myself type of thing. And then look at my little stars now. Just for my own peace of mind, I'm keeping track of my reading habits and like the modes of which I read that month. Orange stars correlating with the bookshelf are my advanced reader copies, and then yellow are just like if I bought it at a store, I borrowed it from the library, things like that. And then I'm keeping track of pages read, which I find on Storygraph. So March is actually the only month that I did that TBR jar thing. Literally only read one book from that TBR jar. So I just don't think that kind of mode of picking books is for me. Those videos are fun to watch, but definitely not fun to actually execute for me personally. So this was my May. And then yeah, I'm gonna try in my reading wrap-ups to do this like genre wrap-up. I think those are really entertaining. Oh yeah, and then I said my recent favorites were my wired earphones and that Olivia Lang quote that I mentioned in my May wrap-up. And then so far, this is my June. We're gonna be talking about these come the end of June. July, I've just got some months ready. Okay, my series tracker, look at this. I don't think I've added much to this. This is how it's going. If you want to peruse through the ones that I finished the Magnolia Parks universe, go me. I believe there are like 3 more coming, but they're all Daisy books. The Naturals, haven't had any inkling to start. Maple Hills, not really interested either. And then I added Skyland and Veronica Speedwell, so that's cool. Those are really the only updates. My NetGalley progress, I've completed 47 out of 63 that I've gotten approved for. This is just how I'm keeping track. Again, I don't think this is the most efficient way to do things. I don't really love it, but it is motivating seeing that bar go up, I swear. This page, to be fully transparent, I abandoned. There's too much tracking, so I might just delete this page because I haven't looked at it. And the A to Z challenge, I think this is really fun. I've not made any, like, how do I put this? I'm not trying to be deliberate with it in that, like, I'm not planning out, oh, like, I can read XYZ book for K. Like, I'm just going and whatever I fill out, I fill out. I'm missing K, Q, U, V, X, Y, Z. Okay. And I think the physical TBR tracker is the tracker that I use the most. I thought it would kind of look like a receipt, like a grocery store receipt, all cute and stuff. It doesn't look cute. It just looks stressful, to be honest. Here is my progress. I want to show you. I started this because I posted the video. It's like my whole physical TBR. I ended up with 187 as like the final number. January, I left with 186 and then it just spiraled. Okay, every time I acquire a copy of anything, I add it. And then if I read a book, I subtract. I mean, obviously, but it just gets so out of control. I didn't realize how many books that I acquire month by month. I think it was really insightful to see how like overwhelming it can get and how quickly it really adds up. So like in April was a really big month for me of just doing stuff bookish wise, I guess. May was freaking huge. Look at all this plus. Very overwhelming. May, I ended up with 201. So despite doing an unhaul in April to get that number down to under 200, alas, 1 month later, it's back to 201. That's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. And then June right now, like all of these pluses, oh, great. I did 1 minus in June. I think this is just a physical manifestation of why I feel so strongly about getting books off my physical TBR and shopping my bookshelves rather than looking at new releases, etc., etc. This is just a lot. And then the 5 stars for every year I've been alive. I've only done 1 video for this. I have yet to do another installment. And books I've DNF'd this year. These are just really short blurbs of all the books I've DNF'd this year. So that is what my reading journal looks like. And then I've seen other people add just like additional questions to this tag. Katie, whose channel I will link below, she asked a couple more questions that I thought were really fun. What books do you want to reread this year is one of her first additional questions. And maybe not this summer, but once it gets a little bit colder, I think, okay, firstly, I made this bookmark, this crochet bookmark of Lily of the Valley flowers. Are you serious? Are you serious? It is so cute. I'll link the YouTube tutorial below, but absolutely obsessed. I keep it with my Beartown. I think come this winter, I really do want to sink my teeth back into the Beartown series. I honestly kind of miss them. I miss them. Lifetime favorite series, like above everything else, it's the Beartown series for me. So I don't have an annotated copy yet. I listened to them first on audiobook, whose audiobook narrator, actually, I forget her name. Marin Ireland. is my favorite audiobook narrator. I can actually, because I listened to her voice for so many hours, these books collectively, it's probably so long, but I can recognize her when I listen to a new book, like Remarkably Bright Creatures. She also narrates that one. Within a few sentences, I was like, this is the person who narrated the Beartown series. It was like a Pavlov dog response. So I think I want to be annotating my favorite series ever later this year. I'm really excited for it, and I will vlog it. I skipped a couple of her questions, but the series that I want to finish before the end of the year, truth be told, literally no series that I'm in the middle of I have any inkling to finish. I mean, obviously, besides, like, don't count the ones that aren't out yet. Kennedy Ryan's Skyline series, for example, the third one is not released yet. I'm punching the air waiting for the third one. It comes out next year. But in terms of all the ones that are already out yet, besides Veronica Speedwell, which I have 8 left to go, I have no qualms about waiting or taking my time with that series. I just don't really care about the other ones that I started. I definitely feel like I'm more of a standalone type book reader. Do you think you'll reach your reading goal, and are you going to change it? So here's how I look at reading goals. I think reading goals are very superfluous. I had to Google how to pronounce that word. I don't think they should ever be a stressor towards you. But with that said, right now my reading goal is at 78. And you're like, that is such a random number. So for the last couple years, I've been setting my reading goal at 52, just so I could say I read a book a week. And then after 52, I like to just jump in increments of 26 so that I can cleanly say like, oh, I read like 1.5 books every year this week. Every week this year. I think I am on track to exceed my goal of 78. If I do and it's like feasible, then I'll probably just bump it up to 104 so that I could say I read 2 books every week. And that's just how my brain works. And the last question I have for this video is any new goals for the rest of the year? In terms of my channel, I am doing more reading vlogs. I'm in the midst of filming a few. I've actually like scrapped a lot of them, and I'm really hoping to do that kind of stuff. More like casual daily vlogs or weekly vlogs with some kind of reading theme involved. I'm definitely going to be working on more reading vlog content, and hopefully you guys will enjoy too, because I'm having a really fun time creating that kind of stuff. And if there are any vlogs in particular you'd be interested in watching from me, if you want me to do a 24-hour readathon, if you want me to do like reading mysteries for a week, please let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate your input. I've been having lots of joy being creative, and I think that that is a part of my soul that this YouTube channel kind of fulfills. So I'm very thankful to have any kind of audience here. You guys are so supportive. I absolutely love reading comments. So I just want to say thank you if you've been here for a month, a day, a week, a year, more. I just spilled coffee everywhere on my carpet. This is so bad for me. Anyway, I'm gonna go clean this up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of your year. Please let me know if you want to answer these questions in the comments. I'm more than happy to hear about them. This is really throwing me off my game. I'm so sticky. Okay, bye. How do I turn off the camera? Oh God.